The amount of poverty in America is recorded by the Census Bureau when they send out surveys. The poverty threshold is the income level below which income is insufficient to support a family or a household. The poverty threshold varies depending on the size of the family. A family is considered poor if their total income is less than the amount required to satisfy the family's minimum need. Poverty rate is the percentage of people who live in households with income below the official poverty threshold. Poverty rates differ depending on race, type of family, age, and residence. This is shown in the graph on the right. The blue bars show the poverty rates for different race. Those who are of Native American descent have the largest poverty rate. The red bars show the poverty rates for different ages. Those under 18 have the highest poverty rate. Lastly, female-headed households have the highest poverty rate among the green bars. Some common causes of poverty are unemployment, health problems, disabilities, people who feel discouraged after a fruitless job hunt, and people who work but for very low wages. Shifts in family structure along with location also play a role in poverty. Those with single parents are more likely to live in poverty. Those who live in the inner city or rural areas also have a higher rate of poverty. This is because people in these areas live far away from high-paying jobs that can be found in places like the suburbs. Three more factors that play into poverty are racial and gender discrimination, growth of low-skill service jobs, and lack of education. Men tend to earn more than women, and white workers tend to earn more than minorities. There are also less high-paying manufacturing jobs for low-skill workers. A worker's lack of skills comes from their lack of education. People who graduate high school earn 2/3 more than dropouts, and college graduates earn more than 3 times as much.
Income distribution is the way in which a nation's total income is distributed among its population. To compute income distribution, economists use these 4 steps. First, they rank the nation's households according to income. Next, they divide the list into fifths, with the lowest fifth representing the poorest 20% of households and the highest fifth representing the wealthiest 20% of households. They then compute the averages for each group. Finally, they compute each group's percentage of the total income by dividing the group's total income by the total income of all groups. Income inequality is clearly seen through these computations, and the food stamp program tries to reverse these effects by helping low-income households buy food. Benefits are provided on an electronic card, which is similar to a credit card. Economists use the Lorenz curve to illustrate the distribution of income in the country. The straight line represents complete equality. Each quintile of the population in the United States would receive 1/5 of the total income if there was complete equality. As the graph to the right displays, there was no income distribution equality in 2006. The first point on the graph, representing the poorest 20% of households, received just 3.4% of the nation's total income. Moving further to the right, you can see that the wealthier groups received more of the nation's income. The area between the line of equality and the Lorenz curve represents the amount of inequality in income distribution. The larger the area, the larger the inequality. The income gap is another measure of income distribution. Differences in income result from the following: differences in skills and education, inheritances, and fields of work. The more education and greater skill set someone has, the higher their wage will be. By inheriting money, people can put it towards investments and possibly generate more money from those investments. An example of this would be putting money into the stock market. Finally, the field of work someone is in determines the wage they will earn. Wages are determined by the demand of labor. People who produce goods with low market value usually earn lower wages. The government spends billions of dollars on programs designed to reduce poverty each year. This money is primarily spent on cash assistance, education, medical benefits, food stamps, and subsidized housing. Critics say too much money is being wasted on these programs. This criticism has led to the establishment of the Earned Income Tax, enterprise zones, job training, housing assistance, and welfare reform. The Earned Income Tax is a refundable tax credit low-income families with children receive when they file their federal income tax return. Eligibility is based on the taxpayer's earned income and the number of children they have. In 2005, this program lifted more than 4 million people above the poverty line, proving to be the most successful anti-poverty program the government offers. Enterprise zone areas are where companies can locate and be free of certain taxes and restrictions on business operations. Zones benefit businesses by lowering costs and help local people find jobs. By providing jobs, the zones can help revitalize rundown areas. Employment assistance consists of job training programs that aim to help workers who lack the skills to earn an adequate income. This type of assistance has also made minimum wage mandatory across the United States. Minimum wage helps ensure workers' hourly pay does not fall below a set point. Currently, the national minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. The government provides housing assistance by making payments to landlords who then lower the rent they would charge otherwise. The government also hands out vouchers to the poor to help cover part of their rent. Another form of housing assistance is government-owned housing, which charges low rental fees. A new minimum wage law was signed by Governor Mark Dayton on Monday, April 14th, which will take the state from one of the nation's lowest rates to among the highest. Dayton approved a law that would increase the minimum wage from $6.15 per hour to now $9.50 per hour by 2016, and then tie it to inflation. California, Connecticut, and Maryland have also passed laws pushing their wages to $10 or more in the coming years, and other states are going well above the federal minimum of $7.25 per hour. For large Minnesota employers, mandatory hourly pay will climb to $9.50 in 2016, while smaller employers that have gross salaries below $500,000 a year will have to pay $7.75 per hour by 2016. There are also exceptions for teen workers or those getting trained into new jobs. All told, some 325,000 workers could be in line for a raise at some point. Dayton says, "We're giving them hope." "I work incredibly hard but constantly fall behind," says Jaquita Burns, a single mother of 3. "Those of us working low-wage jobs are willing to work hard. We want to get ahead so we're not in survival mode." She said the hike will give her more money for groceries, gas, and other essentials, and maybe allow her to afford extracurricular activities for the kids. Not everyone is on board with this new law, though. Republican Representative Pat Garofalo called this increase irresponsible and argued it would drive up unemployment as companies adjust.